This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, your world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by South Texas Nature, featuring the lower Rio Grande Valley, America's richest birding. I'm standing at the border wall that separates the United States of America from Mexico. This wall has been designed to keep out immigrants and undesirable aliens from the United States. But there are some immigrants that even this wall just cannot keep out. And we're talking about red crown parrots. This week's golden bird. Let's go birding.
Now is the time of your life. Oh, now is the time. It's a sweet ride to the end of the line. Now is the time. It's the right time to come alive. Now is the time of your life. Oh, now is the time of your life.
Smoking ponies. Did you see that bird? This is the perfect habitat for this bird. Beautiful plumes. Look at the plumes on the neck and the head. Yeah! That's what I call birding. Awesome. That's our golden bird. This week's birding adventure takes us in quest of the red crown parrots of Harlingen in Cameron County in the Rio Grande Valley. We're very fortunate to have Wings leader Rich Hoyer joining us on this show as we go in quest of this beautiful parrot.
Let's go birding!
The Rio Grande Valley, or the valley as it's fondly known, is probably the most diverse of the 10 distinct ecological regions in Texas. And this area is an absolute hotspot for birds, with over 500 species of birds recorded in this lower Rio Grande Valley area. Not only birds, but countless species of butterflies as well. In fact, this region hosts more species of butterflies than the entire of the eastern United States and Canada.
One of the cool butterflies down here is the giant swallowtail, one of the largest butterflies in South Texas. Easily seen if you go to the right places. Its host plant are things in the rue family, which includes citrus. They lay their eggs on citrus. One of the most amazing things about them is their caterpillars. Their larvae look just like a bird dropping. That's how they disguise themselves from their prey. Cardinals and other birds will happily eat them, but they don't discover them because they just look like bird droppings.
Great, and tell us a little bit about the droppings of larval butterflies. What is that called?
Frass. That's a great way to discover butterflies. The caterpillars are so cryptic and small, sometimes hidden beneath leaves, you can't even tell they're there. So if you're looking around and look for the frass, you see the telltale signs of a feeding caterpillar.
Well, holy frass, this is going to be a great show. A birding trip to the Rio Grande Valley would be remiss without a visit to South Padre Island. We were fortunate to hook up with Scarlet Collie, who took us out to the Intracoastal Waterway to see her dolphin friends and to search for the elusive mangrove warbler.
There's a dolphin!
Scarlet, how many dolphins do you know in this area?
I have about 75 I know really well and have named. And watched them grow up since the day they were born.
Oh, that was beautiful.
If the water's murky and muddy, which it can be quite often, then I need my dolphin dog. I need him because he's going to spot those dolphins before they come up, and I'll know in which direction.
Rossi, find us the dolphins. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Oh, there they are. Just where Rossi's looking. Good boy. He's a good boy. Scarlet has just driven us across the Laguna Madre. We've had some great fun viewing some bottlenose dolphins, and we're here to look for an incredible little bird, the mangrove warbler. This is their habitat behind me here. It's very specific habitat, and it's called black mangroves.
He's right there.
See him?
In that mangrove over there.
Oh my goodness, it's a male.
Right-
Look at
right
that
up on top.
beautiful head.
Really gorgeous.
Awesome, that chestnut head.
There he is. He's hopping to the right.
Oh, this has got to be one of the most handsome of all the warblers in North America. Look at this bird. This is incredible. Mangrove warbler, yes. Well played, Rich, that's great. Excellent, what a handsome bird.
There was one bird that birders in particular had asked me to watch for. We'd had 2 sightings in the United States, and that was it. Only 2 sightings ever documented. I'm leading tours in here for birding and our dolphin tours, and all of a sudden I see a little yellow bird on the shore right over there, and the light bulb went on. They're nesting here. Even the non-birder, when they see this bird, it's a wowie bird for them. They love it. And I've probably had several people who've become birders just because of seeing this beautiful bird.
We experienced a severe storm whilst on South Padre, but this resulted in one of birding's very special phenomena. I'm standing in the rain here on South Padre Island at the convention center. This is unusual weather for this time of the year. We've got very strong north winds blowing, a lot of rain, but this is a great opportunity for us to see a phenomenon called a migrant fallout. We have got hundreds of exhausted songbirds that have made a beeline for this vegetation at the convention center. This is a great and a fantastic opportunity to see a whole host of different migrant songbirds. One would think that birding in inclement weather is a waste of time, but we braved the storm and had some of the most frantic and successful birding ever. We recorded close to 70 species of birds in a very short time, including specialities like neotropic cormorant and excellent wading birds and shorebirds. It was wonderful to walk around and see exhausted songbirds in close proximity. Several species of warblers, kingbirds, seed eaters, flycatchers, tanagers, and more, all right before our eyes. Our visit to South Padre Island just happened to coincide with the opening of the World Birding Center on South Padre.
We have a lot of birds, over 500 species of birds here in the valley. We know that we are a prime destination for birders, and we wanted to tap into that. But there's also the conservation aspect that a lot of people buy into, and the need to conserve land, particularly for the birds, but for wildlife in general. So each of these birding centers, we're hoping to be an economic stimulus from the visitors, the tourists. We also want to be an education center to teach people about conservation and just the birds and the habitat and the wildlife that we each individually have.
En route from South Padre Island to Harlingen, we just had to stop at the Sable Palm Audubon Sanctuary. This is one of the most important sites in North America, and particularly important for the protection of these sable palm forests behind me. This is also a site on the Great Texas Coastal Birding Trail and is very important for an amazing bird of the Crassidea family, the plain chachalaca. In areas like Mexico, where plain chachalacas are hunted extensively because they taste pretty good, they're more often heard than seen. But here at Sable Palm Audubon Sanctuary, chachalacas are walking around like chickens. This is perfect habitat for plain chachalacas. They love this tangled understory of forest at places like Sable Palm Audubon Sanctuary. The plain chachalaca gets its name from its call. It's an onomatopoeic name, and its call is a chachalaca. And plain chachalacas are found right from the Rio Grande Valley all the way south to northern Costa Rica.
Chachalacas are a really interesting bird. They're the northernmost member of the crassid family, which doesn't mean much to most people. Crassids are groups of mostly terrestrial, but some arboreal birds, somewhat resemble turkeys. But in South America, you get the greatest diversity with things like guans and curassows. The plain chachalaca is the only one that gets to the United States.
Well, we've got South Texas mudfoot over here, trapping through looking for groove-billed annies. We've managed to find one, which is actually quite unusual. They're normally in groups together.
This is a groove-billed Annie. It's an atypical member of the cuckoo family. That's pretty great to see.
Yeah, it was really exciting. It's amazingly cooperative. It came right in. Looks a lot like the smooth-billed Ani, but that bird is found mostly in the Caribbean and throughout South America. This is the only one you would expect to see in South Texas. And what's more amazing is you try to come up here and find them in the winter. Everything else is here. You find the green jays, you find the chachalacas. There are no groove-billed Anis. There's nothing about this bird that's like a migratory bird. It has short wings, floppy, slow flight, and when they land, they look like they're about to fall over.
Right.
But it's pretty cool to see them this time of year.
And look at those. You can see the grooves in the bill, the deep grooves in the bill. If you look close up on them, pretty awesome.
The other difference is between this and the smooth-bill. The smooth-bill doesn't have those grooves, and its bill's a little bit higher arched.
The Sable Palm Audubon Sanctuary is important because of everything that you see here. This ecosystem is rare and unique to the South Texas region. I mean, it's a huge part of our natural heritage here. It protects and harbors this beautiful, critical ecosystem. It's got birds, mammals, reptiles that you don't see anywhere else. Some of the common birds that people can see here is the plain Chachalaca, the green jay, which I think is one of our most beautiful birds here in the Rio Grande Valley, and the great kiskadee, also white-tipped dove. Here at our visitor center, they're very often, people will come from different parts of the country, walk up and literally sit at our little benches here and find all those birds without ever having to walk on a trail.
This Birding from the Edge segment is brought to you by Nikon, manufacturers of the Edge line of optics.
We're in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, and I'm holding an indigo snake, the largest constrictor in North America and a native of the Rio Grande region. This is Birding from the Edge. This sound is deafening. We're at the largest roost site of green parakeets in the entire of North America. These are spectacular little parakeets. Green parakeets are from the Aratinga genus. Aratinga is the Latin word for small macaw, and these are like little tiny macaws. There's got to be several hundred birds right here in this roost site looking for a suitable place to spend the evening. This is awesome. This is the northernmost occurring parrot in North America. And these guys are just having a great time here, playing on the roofs. The sound is literally deafening. Here we are, there's got to be hundreds of birds around us over here. Now it's debatable as to whether this is a native population or whether this colony and these birds here have been substituted by birds from the cage trade or whether they are wild occurring birds. A lot of people believe that it's a mixture of both. Some birds occurring from the natural population in Mexico and other birds that have been released from the cage trade. Either way, it's a fascinating sight, it really is. This is quite a diverse species of parakeet. There are 4 different recognized subspecies of green parakeet and a lot of motivation for this northernmost subspecies to be recognized as a separate species because it's got a lot of differences to the rest of the populations.
They're probably easier to see here than in Mexico, in the areas where we know that they're absolutely native.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've been down there and it's nearly missed them several occasions, and here you can't miss them.
And this is the best place to see them. Awesome.
This is the best place. And in numbers, and right overhead.
Huge numbers, and everywhere.
They're used to people here, so you don't scare them when you walk right underneath them.
Fascinating.
They're staging on there. They're looking for a place to roost for the night.
Right. It's believed that there are about 200,000 green parakeets left on Earth, but the population is in danger and it is declining. And this is due to the pet trade. There's still a lot of illegal trapping of green parakeets in Mexico, and illegal export of these birds is still widespread. So the population is declining, and that's why it's great to see green parakeets thriving.
Seeing the green parakeets in such numbers was special, but we still needed to fulfill our quest for this week's golden bird, the red crown parrot.
This is Harlingen in Cameron County, Texas, the site for our search for red crown parrots. Our strategy to find these birds involves a whole network of spotters positioned out in the city here waiting for red crown parrots to come into roost.
The spotters were kindly organized ahead of time by Marcy Fuller of the Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival, one of the oldest birding festivals in the United States.
How's it going, guys? Hey. How are you doing? Good, thanks. Any luck yet?
We've had some fly over.
Okay.
We've had 3 different groups, a total of about 90 birds.
Okay.
However, unfortunately, they did not stay.
Okay, which way are they headed?
They're headed that way toward St. Albans Church.
Have we got another group of spotters down there?
Yes, we do.
We do? Okay. Let's try and make our way there. Thank you very much. Thanks, you guys. Okay, thanks a lot. They've just gone that way. Okay, let's get them on foot. You can hear these raucous calls. These red crown parrots are really noisy birds. They've just flown in over here in the neighborhood. We're going to get them. Wow! Look at that. Flying in pairs. Unbelievably, there are more red crown parrots established in feral populations in urban areas than there are in the wild. This is a very threatened parrot. There are only between 1,000 to 2,000 birds left in Mexico, and they're very well established in places like California and Florida. Here, this population in the Rio Grande area, in Harlingen in particular, there are great numbers of these birds, and it's really good to hear that they're increasing in these areas. Red crown parrots in their native habitat in Mexico are incredibly threatened due to the caged bird trade. Birds are still being trapped in huge numbers and illegally exported to the United States, where they're sold as caged birds. This is very, very tragic news, and poachers will actually cut down entire trees with babies roosting in the trees to get at those babies to sell to people in the United States. It's believed that approximately 25,000 parrots are exported illegally into the United States every year. With numbers like this, it's no wonder why birds like the red crown parrot are endangered in places like Mexico.
One reason that the parrots are doing so well here in South Texas is that they have a great food supply in the form of honey mesquite beans. The inside of the pod surrounding the seeds is this nutritious pulp. It's delicious too. People can actually eat it. A lot of birds can eat things that we can't eat, but this is one you can. Try it. Break it in, chew on it.
Yummy! Actually really sweet.
Very sweet.
You kind of chew around the pip and spit it out.
That's right. The seeds aren't edible. They're super hard. They'll break your teeth if you're not careful.
Tastes really good.
Excellent.
These parrots have got really good choice in food. This is good stuff. What awesome views of red crown parrots. Oh man.
Beautiful birds, aren't they?
There's evening light on them. The view through these Nikon binoculars is crystal clear. Yeah, red crown parrot, our golden bird. Yes, well played, Rich. Nice one. Great.
There's not a lot of countable parrots for birders if birders are listing, and this is one of the unique places to see them. The red crown parrots are very special for the valley. They're one of our 20 to 30 unique species. These are subtropical species that just barely reach across the Rio Grande River, basically, so they're Mexican species. So for birders that are listers, they just need to come to the valley and see our special species. The residents, I think, realize, or they're really just beginning to realize, the importance of the birds that they have here in the valley. The economic impact of birders in the valley is really considerable, and second only to our winter Texan tourism, which is a huge chunk of change for the valley. So the residents are getting more aware, and that's good because the development is pretty rampant in the valley, and we need the local population aware for habitat conservation and just to keep our wildlife going down here.
Thanks so much, Marcy, for showing us these parrots. I'd encourage anybody in the United States to come down to Harlingen in the Rio Grande Valley to see these parrots, not only the parrots, but also the incredible diversity of birds around this area.
Well, my take on the red crown parrots here in the valley is that they are native. They came in from Mexico probably in the late 60s, early 70s. A lot of agricultural clearing going on the other side, a wholesale clearing of the land across the border, and these birds probably came into the valley at that time. There's old records that show that the Spaniards saw green birds here, or parrots, type of parrots. We don't know which kind, but it's very possible that they were here back then. And then when our land was cleared in the 20s here, they went back to Mexico. Now they're back. They're here because there's a lot of fruit trees in the cities. The cities have grown up with all the hackberries and all the other trees that they can eat, so they're an urban bird here now in the valley. And I'm pretty sure that they came that way.
Martin can go to his church, I'll go to mine. We have different views. I think the historical evidence is anecdotal at best. When I first started birding the valley, and other birders like me, we birded the refuges, not the towns. There are no parrots there then, there are no parrots there now. When birders started coming and finding rarities in the towns and started birding the towns, they found parrots. And I think that the flocks then were discovered, particularly in the winter when they gather up. If you look at South Florida and Southern California, they have flocks of hundreds. Southern California has thousands of red-crowned parrots. No one argues that any of those are wild, and I think the same situation applies here.
Well, there's only one way for us to resolve this, and that's for these two guys to duke it out Texas style. Come on! Who's got it? Who's red crowning it? Is it native? Captive released? Native? Captive released? Yeah, the parrots.
Here they come, parrots.
Parrots are here.
They open the cages
White
finally.
knuckle.
The native parrots are here.
It's a tie! Seeing red-crowned parrots in such incredible numbers was quite special. You know, this is a bird which is very threatened in its natural range in Mexico, and to see these birds thriving in a place like Harlingen was very, very awesome to see.